So what you just saw, I think, is a low-key, but a very powerful moment. Truly a powerful moment. Because this is Gol D. Roger, King of the Pirates, the greatest legend in the series. And we're seeing, if you would, the shadow of Gol D. Roger, the disease that did him in, him coughing blood. And yet, when he comes out to see the crew, it's all smiles. The anime does a very good job, I think, of that scene with the juxtaposition between the shadow, what goes on behind the door, and then what Roger had displayed for us in public. And the manga has it too, mind you, they do. In chapter 967, it's there, but we don't see it. All we hear is just coughing and hacking, and then Shanks like, what's going on? And then we'll see the doorknob turn. We never actually get to see what's going on behind the closed doors. And the anime, I think, again, did a very good job with that scene, absolutely. And knowing how bright that shining light was for Gol D. Roger, the Pirate King legend, him telling Garp to take care of his own son, that's a mega Chad move. That's a mega Sigma male move, without question. Takes huge cojones to do that. To ask your own enemy, your own nemesis, to take care of your own kid, and expect them to actually do so and not kill your own kid. That's kind of crazy. Seeing how great Whitebeard was in real time, in the pre-time skip, and knowing that someone as great, someone as magnanimous as Whitebeard was, even in terms of legend at least, was inferior to Gol D. Roger. There are so many things about Gol D. Roger and who he was as a person that just light up and give life to the One Piece world. And just seeing for the first time what goes on behind the closed doors. Him on that barrel just coughing up blood. Him being able to just barely stand. That's a very powerful, powerful moment, I think. It's low-key, but I think it's very powerful. Now, originally, this video was supposed to be about Prime Roger versus Prime Whitebeard. Because in the latest River card, and shoutouts to Reddit, we do find out that 2 years before the fight against Whitebeard, that's when he fully contracted the terminal disease. And despite his condition, he fought on par with Whitebeard. Now in One Piece, it works very different than the series, where despite someone's body's condition or their stamina, they can still a lot of times exert their full power attacks. I.e., and I should say right now, spoiler alert, for anyone that is an anime-only watcher, okay? I was gonna drop a really, really big spoiler, a nuke-class spoiler.
Tactical nuke incoming!
And I'm pretty sure not many guys that are anime-only watchers are Pell. So if I drop this spoiler, you may not survive, and I don't want to have blood on my hands. So please, run away. But before you do, though, support your boy. Support your boy with a like or a dislike. I'm not biased. With a subscription, and of course, click on that bell to join the notification squad. Because I do a lot of anime reactions. But I'm letting you know what's what. Now you're aware. Now, as I was saying, like for example, Zoro. When Zoro does the Ashura's Dead Man game on Kaido, Zoro's condition was massively screwed. He was in a worse condition than my guy was fighting against Madara and Naruto, bro. And Zoro still pulls off the Ashura's Dead Man game at full power. So the whole point here is that One Piece, they can exert their full power despite their body's condition, but the key thing here would be stamina and longevity. Because that fight does last for a prolonged period of time, so you have to wonder, okay, well, let's say that fight goes on for 4 more days, 5 more days. It's very likely that Whitebeard gets that W against Gol D. Roger because Gol D. Roger was not in his prime. He is 2 years removed from getting the terminal disease officially, and a few months or 1 year away from when we see him in that scene coughing up blood sitting on a barrel in the darkness. So again, this video was going to be originally about that subject, but after watching the footage, I began to think about Luffy. Yes.
No.
I began to think about Monkey D, Luffy, and the end of the series One Piece. Will Luffy die? That is, man, That has been a very hot topic for a very long time. And when I thought about that, I was actually reminded of way back when, like years ago, 2014, 2015. There was a fake article that came out that was making the run through the community, where apparently Oda had told a dying child, a terminal child in Japan, the ending of One Piece. And I thought about just how crazy it would have actually been for Oda to tell this child, Luffy's dying. Like, now again, you would assume Oda would lie in that situation, but that's still also kind of messed up too. But again, this was a fake article, because I also remember that too. Wait, hold on, it was fake. That was fake news. But if you didn't know, 5-6 years ago, that was a thing that happened in the community where there was that fake news article that made some waves, absolutely. But again, Luffy's death has been controversial for many years, many years. In the pre-time skip, we have two main notes of Luffy using his own life force. The first one is Enies Lobby with his Gear Second, where Rob Lucci talks about how the accelerated blood flow, the doping, would likely shorten Luffy's life. Now, in the post-time skip, we assume that this issue has been fixed, but that's an assumption. It's a safe assumption, absolutely, but it's still an assumption. We don't know if he does incrementally, very shortly, does shorten his own lifespan by accelerating that blood flow for the Gear Second. That could still maybe be the thing here. The second time in the pre-time skip was when, of course, obviously, when Ivankov injected the Emporio healing hormone to the Luffy to survive Magellan's poison. Now, supposedly, it was 10 years of his lifespan, which was given under the time frame of 24 hours, but Luffy actually finished it, the whole ordeal, in 20 hours. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Did he use up more life force or use less life force? Because the 10 years for lifespan was based on 24 hours, but he finished it in 20 hours. So, who knows?
I have no idea!
And then knowing after that, Luffy surviving Magellan poison should have rested. But instead he fought through Impel Down, fought against the Minotaur, Blackbeard, Magellan, and so on. Went to Marineford. He was in the middle of a war, right after using up like years of his life to survive Magellan's poison. And Ivankov injecting adrenaline hormones into him so Luffy could continue to fight. Bro? Like, when you think about it, that's insane. When Ace does die, and then Luffy sees that, and then he winds up screaming, and all of a sudden goes like some crazy catatonic state, I think Ivankov mentioned that was his body's way of naturally shutting down. I think so. To survive the entire ordeal. Like the whole king caboodle. As well as, of course, to stabilize his mind. And then, so as I recall that stuff in the pre-time skip, in the post-time skip, not that much until Wano Country. Until Wano Country and the big bad boss of the arc, Kaido. Because Kaido starts talking about, what now? These great men. And when Luffy gives Kaido the red rock, he envisions him with these great dudes. And all of them are dead except for one guy, Shanks. But many people expect Shanks to die. And then, I'm also reminded of Hawkins, his prophecy. Yes, I say it a lot, but I think it's indicative of how serious this whole ordeal is going to be for Luffy's body. And now we kind of tell on Zoro's body too, because this crazy mink, I call an Aspel, drug. But either way, Hawkins, a 19% chance of surviving. And Luffy's already gone through hell at this point in time. And yes, we do have OP doctors in this arc. True, we have Chopper, we have Marco, we have Law. But I am going to expect at the end of this arc, his body's condition to be similar to what we see in post-Marineford, where he may need some oxygen, like he's on a ventilator, like he needs it, like he has all the strand wrapped into one crazy mega strand, and Luffy's trying to survive that. So, come the end of the series, I actually do lean towards Luffy dying. I actually do. I do. However, I also want to mention here that there are other characters, like maybe Marco, but also Law, mainly Law, via the immortality surgery, that can at least fix what Luffy has lost over the past few years of his journey so far. Now, maybe not full-on immortality. Probably not, honestly. So you have to wonder what the Goro say in the Ohara flashback. They look almost the same as far as I recall from what they are now. However, Luffy has lost a lot of years of his life, and maybe Law, via the sacrifice of the immortality surgery, he's able to actually undo that, and then Luffy returns back to normal, or whatever normal is. And then Marco can maybe do something similar with, let's say, a crazy Phoenix sacrifice of some sort, and some folks have theorized that as well. Though I do think about it in this case, if there's going to be a sequel for One Piece, like a short sequel, like a miniseries, then I can see it happening off screen. Because I do think that Oda has some intentions now to establish pairings in the series. But when I see the stuff with Zoro and Hiyori, when I see Sanji and Pudding, or Sanji and Viola, or Sanji and Nami, whichever one you want to pick, honestly, Sanji. Or even, I would say low-key, Jinbei and Robin, I would say low-key. And we all know that Kaya is waiting for Usopp. I can see something with Boa Hancock happening in the future of the series, absolutely, for sure. Outside the final war, absolutely. After Luffy has completed his dream, he settles down with Boa Hancock, and it's all kind of done off screen. And then for, let's say, this mini sequel, we return to the series, we return to the world 20 years or 10 years after everything is all said and done, and then we find out during that time frame that Luffy had passed away. I do recall also what Ace said in the Yamato flashback, where he did say that he wanted to have a drink with this legendary person that Yamato was talking about, which of course was his own dad, Roger. And I believe he also mentioned Luffy as well in that conversation. So maybe one of the final shots of One Piece, or a shot we may see in, let's say, a sequel for the story of One Piece, or a mini sequel of some sorts, would be that exchange of drinks between Roger, Ace, and Luffy. Maybe. With that being said, let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. I'm sweating, so I'm gonna see you guys and gals on the flip side. You guys and gals, take care, be safe, have a nice one.